to see the progression of some of our young prospects, getting the opportunity to play in key situations has been a benefit for our guys, and they're producing. You look at guys like Morgan Klimchuk and Mangiapane that are getting some good ice time, but also putting the puck in the net and putting up some points. It's exciting for us.
Has there been anyone? Maybe it is those players you just mentioned. Has there been anyone in particular that's really stood out above the rest?
I think it's been a group effort down here. Obviously, Mark Jankowski's been a positive player for us and earned a call up and played in an NHL game. So he continues to develop and be a big, strong centerman. So he's a guy that's stood out. But I can tell you, on the back end and in goal, we've had some positive players that have pushed things along.
Have you been surprised by the way David Rittich has played this season?
I'm not surprised, because coming in, and the reason why we signed him is we knew he was a good goalie and we had high expectations for him. To get a number of shutouts obviously is something that you might have a little bit of surprise on, but from an ability standpoint and a work ethic, there was no surprise there for us. We're real pleased with his game. As well as John Gillies, and I think it gives us a good tandem there, and then to have McCollum in the mix as well. I think we have solid goaltending here in Stockton.
Hunter Shinkaruk played 7 games. He was our first recall up to Calgary, and played 7 games with the Flames, but is back now. Have you guys had any conversations with him about what you want to see from him as he comes back down to Stockton?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously we had a good conversation with him when we sent him down here, and the key message there is to come down here and play his game, and he's obviously a talented player, an offensive player in the American League. When he goes up, he's sometimes in a third and fourth line role, so he has to play a well-rounded game. But for his role here is produce points. He'll be in all offensive situations, and for us to give us a little offensive punch and to be knocking on the door for the next call up into Calgary.
And you've started to see, I think, the emergence of Morgan Klimchuk, not just the player that we saw last year, who was one of your best two-way players, but also getting the points that he should have probably been getting last year. I think he was disappointed he wasn't getting it last year. Is he someone, again, who's starting to push maybe for that opportunity to get a call up here?
He's had a tremendous start to the year. As you mentioned, I think he had an up and down year, especially from a production standpoint last year. So to see that production, you just see that level of confidence in his game, whether it's in practice or whether in the game, and you know that he's willing to go to the hard areas and willing to make things happen, and he's seen that production happen. But no, for sure, he's an exciting young prospect for us. He's a player that we talk about in Calgary on a regular basis, amongst others, and but for him, he can't be focused on am I going to get a call up tomorrow? He's going to focus on the process down here, being consistent and keep that play up throughout the year, and things will take care of themselves.
The last guy in that first rounders that you guys have, the trio of guys, he started to wear an A on his chest, and since Coach Huska's put the A on his chest, he seems to have really kind of picked up his game a little bit. Do you feel like Emile's playing with a little bit more pride wearing that A on his chest than maybe he was early on in the season?
Emile's a proud guy, and with his time spent in the American League and obviously getting some call-ups over the last couple of years, I think he brings that leadership quality as well. So, Emile gets a number of chances and is always in the top end of our chances in the game and to the season to date. So he's getting the offensive chances and hasn't maybe put the puck in the net as much as that he would like, but it's not from a lack of scoring chances, and we know he's got that will and desire, and another real good player for us that hopefully he breaks out in the way of production here soon.
I know it's a little early in the season to say critical, but knowing the road record we had last year, we're about 500 this year. Is this kind of not necessarily a make or break, but is this kind of a road trip that can kind of tell you what kind of team you have down here?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Anytime, if you're going to have success overall as a team, you want to have a good positive road record. I think we've had some really good success here at home. So, yeah, that's something the coaching staff and myself have talked about a lot, and focusing in on the stretch of 7 games here in around the Christmas break, and it's important to us. And in talking to the leadership group and the number of the players here as well as the coaches, we have a confident group here, and we have a confident group going into this series of games, and we feel if we can play the way we're playing, that that we'll be in the games and hopefully win more than we'll lose.
You starting to feel a little bit more confidence as well organizationally, because Adirondacks in second, we're in first, and Calgary's grinded back into a playoff spot. It's starting to be kind of a good time, I guess, right now for the Flames organization.
Yeah, so far it's the last little bit has definitely been positive, and we're in the business of results and winning, and in the short period of time here, you're right, we've had some wins. So the task at hand is now to keep the pedal to the metal, if you will, and really focus in on the upcoming games and not look to see what we've done, and we can't sit around and rest and say, wow, we've been good, we can just rest now. We have to really step it up a level and continue to step it up a level as the season goes on.